it's Lori with Revive and Restore, and I am here today because I want to share my friend Devin with you because he has an amazing story of what Revive and Restore was able to do for him. Devin, let them know what you went through and just tell us your story.
This is Lori, guys. One of the greatest people I've ever met in my life. Now, a little bit about my story. Coming here led me here to Tampa, and meeting up with Lori and the Revive and Restore people is where I was at about a year ago from now. A year ago from now, I was in Land O'Lakes. You know, a couple things happened to me that really put me in a bad place. I was living with a best friend who passed away, and it was a roommate situation. We were actually working for the same company. I was doing landscaping. We were all living in a house together. I was doing fine for the most part. A little bit about me, I'm a recovering alcoholic, and shortly after this story ends is when I relapsed the last time. What happened was we had a hurricane come through. It became winter, so our landscaping work cut in half, and my roommate and best friend had just passed away. I was having to cover, double the rent with half the hours I was working. So real quickly, the stress of all that and everything put me in a real dark place, and I started drinking again, real heavily. The trailer we were in was pretty much ruined after the hurricane, and I became out of a place to live. I had nothing but the 3 bags I could carry on me, about 250 pounds worth of stuff, and I decided I'm gonna go back to where, I know there's a little bit more resources. Land O'Lakes being so far out, it was not a really easy place to survive, being without resources, not having a job. Keep in mind, in this time, I'm really still in a dark place. I grab all my stuff and I decide I'm gonna go to Tampa. Hopefully at least there I'll be able to find some shelter and just plan it out from there. My first day there, it was really, really, really scary. It was not anything like I thought it would be like, because I remember, when I was younger, running into some troubles with my past, and Tampa just being a place that was easier to pick up on, find work, and get yourself together. Even if you weren't fully together, you were able to make it there somehow. Going back to Tampa now, it's not the same. It was a scary place, and I don't scare easy. So for me to get off that bus, after walking 30 miles into town with 250 pounds of stuff on my back, everything I had carrying, my work boots, everything I owned, I pretty much couldn't move for 3 days. It put me onto the street, and at this point, I had spent all my money, drank my last drink, and I was really hard up, and I didn't know what to do. So I just kept bouncing around to shelters. I found one finally that let me in.
What was the name of that shelter?
That place was called The Cove.
Okay.
It was a wonderful place for what it was. I mean, it's a shelter. It's not good places because you're getting a lot of bad people. It's a good place for you to be, but you're surrounded by drugs. You're surrounded by people who aren't necessarily doing the right thing. And, I really didn't like that situation. At that point, I was done with the drinking. It was a shorter relapse for me, but it was powerful enough to make me realize that I couldn't keep doing what I was doing. The only way out would be in a sober way. It became real hard. From there on out, what I did was just focused on jobs every day. I was like, how can I make myself into a better situation? And I would just apply to jobs all day and all day. And, keep in mind, I'm on the street surviving at this point. So I'm not living in a house. I'm not going to a stable bed every night. I'm not having showers and, the stuff most people have. I'm having to work for all this. So half of my day is working just, to survive the day. And then the other half was filling out job applications. Most of them, being rejected because I have, some trouble in my past. Having a felony on my record was really hard to find a lot of jobs. So I was going into interviews that normally as a kitchen, guys worked as a cook my whole life as a chef. I'd walk in these jobs and just get these jobs. But I was being turned away from Burger Kings and stuff that I should be qualified for, but people wouldn't give me the chance.
That makes me think of something, Devin, because a lot of people have the mindset, just go get a job. Homeless people, just go get a job. But
you want a job. I wanted a job more than anything. More than anything. I remember the only thing I would do in the shelter when I wasn't out looking for jobs, I'd be in their computer room filling out applications on my Indeed, sending out resumes, printing resumes. And I'd go to them almost in tears going, guys, I filled out 90 resumes or 90 applications this week. I get 2 callbacks, and maybe one interview goes good, but I never hear back. I walk into Chick-fil-A and they see a tattoo, and that's an automatic strike. So
how did you hear about Revive and Restore?
How me and Lori, now this is getting to where the Revive and Restore comes in. I'm on the street, we're in the street, all day because you can't really stay in the shelters. So in the street, you kind of you figure out stuff to do during the day to keep you occupied. You got to keep out of the sun, how you're gonna wash up, how you're gonna change your clothes, how you're gonna have new clothes, how you're eating for that day. So this happened to just be a day out of the normal, like any other day. And I was at the Trinity Cafe, and I was there, and somebody told me there was this church does a feeding, because I was like, oh, that was good. I wonder if there's any more feedings tonight, because I'm going to be out, you know. And they were like, oh, well, they know this one in Ybor City. And I said, oh, that's great. I love Ybor City. I used to work there when I lived in Tampa. And a guy ended up walking with me all the way to the church, Our Lady of Perpetual Help. He was so tired, he's like, I'm not staying. And this was both our first times there. His name was Ray. He's been there a couple times since. He loves it. But we got there early, and it was like 3:30. We got really early because we ended up, it was a hot day. We walked from Trinity Cafe pretty much straight into Ybor, and I was like, dude, I think we just need to sit down. And we get to this church, and I'm like, oh, it's really nice here. And there's benches, and I see a couple other people, and I'm like, oh, this is really nice, and no one's bothering us. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna relax here for a little bit. This seems like a great place. And I said, I'm gonna wait. I want to see what this is about. And lo and behold, the Revive and Restore van comes in, and this is the first time I meet Lori. And I'm like, wow, who is this? And I remember that day, she was just so full of energy and just such a presence. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And we go in, and she's doing all this stuff, and it's just above and beyond like what I've seen anyone doing in the community. She's handing out clothing. Keep in mind, I'm just here, you know, relaxing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what this is about. I mean, on that first day, she fed 300 people. There was a clothing truck that came, and everyone got brand new outfits. I'm talking about like toiletries, everything. The place people could come and be safe and eat, knew they were getting a good meal. And Lori was just so helpful, and she talked to everyone there. She made herself, you know, accessible. So it's not like a person who's just there to do her thing. She was really concerned about the other people. Everyone seemed like her best friend. And I was like, wow, that was really awesome. So after that first night, I went back. I was like, guys, that was really cool. I'd like to go back again. Next week, I go back. I think I helped set up some of the tables for you guys. Ever since, I just loved it. And it was like the one really positive thing I had like in my week, really. I could just always look forward, well, at least Wednesday's gonna be good, you know, with all the other stuff I was doing. And, you know, talking to Lori more and more, eventually it got to where she introduced me to a guy named Anthony, who works out of a place called Station House Barbecue. And between her and the other guy, Mike, right? They had me talk to Anthony. I said, okay. And I shook his hand and told him I have restaurant experience. I think this was actually after I just went to an interview and like for Wawa and got turned down. So I was like, really, at this part, I'm clean. I'm sober now. But I'm still in that dark place, like struggling. It's miserable. Every day is misery. So I talked to this guy, Anthony. Lo and behold, 2 days later, I get a text message. Come at 10 o'clock to this location. I'm not even sure it's Anthony because the number he texted didn't correspond with the one I had saved. So I show up to this building, and I'm like, I'm thinking it's one of the 1,000 resumes I might have put out. I get to this building, and I'm dressed up. I'm in a button-up shirt. You know, I'm still homeless on the street, but I'm able to put together dress attire for interviews because, you know, you have to. And I'm dressed up, and I get there, and I'm like, I think I'm in the wrong building because it's this huge kitchen. Everyone's looking at me. They don't know why I'm there. Anthony's not there yet. One of the gentlemen there, Victor, he's like, oh yeah, they told me you were coming in today. Put on an apron. I'm like, put on an apron? I'm in dress clothes. So I remember that was my first day working at Station House, just working. And I was thrilled. You know, even though I was working in a barbecue restaurant in dress shirt, I was so thrilled to be back to work. And just that little bit of hope that one day gave me totally turned that darkness I had in me and spiraled it around. And from there, that's all I wanted was to feel the hope that Revive and Restore was helping with me and gave me. It was so much more than a handout from them. I'd like to call it as a hand up, because not only were they there from the beginning when I started this job, and Lori came to me 2 days later and was like, Devin, I think we found a vehicle for you. And I'm like, that's okay, I don't believe it. I'm like, cool. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. I haven't driven a car in 6 years, you know, other than my work truck. She was there with me the whole time and was able to get me going, gave me the positive reinforcement I needed to go every day. And I mean, it just so quickly turned around from the nightmare I was in to where I'm at now, and I'm so blessed.
You know, I remember having a conversation with you about you knew that your time was going to be up at the Cove.
Yes.
And you were so afraid of going back to the street.
Yeah, that was one of my biggest fears.
And so we had a conversation about, you know, what you were comfortable with because you had a job, and
I
so
was
we
working
knew you
in the
had the
shelter.
resources. And so I asked you if you wanted to find a place, and you said yes. And so we worked together, and through a friend that is a partner partner in the ministry. He had a room available
Yes.
for you. I'll never forget the day. I drove to the Cove to pick you up that morning.
Yes.
We loaded everything you had to your name.
Trash
that was
bags,
in garbage bags.
garbage bags.
Put them in the van, and we took you to move you in to where you live now,
Yeah,
right?
where I'm living now. I live right across the street from Busch Gardens. It's a beautiful Temple Terrace area.
Yeah.
I love it, and it's such a turnaround. Like from where I was at to where I'm a year ago to where I'm at now, I wouldn't believe my life has changed so much and gotten so better this fast. Just from the help I've got from people like Lori over here and Revive and Restore and all the other ministries and partners that, I mean, what they're doing out here is so wonderful. What you guys do is so amazing.
Well, but what you do now, it's that ripple effect. And so now Devin is giving back to the community. So he's helping Revive and Restore to prepare meals that we're serving on Wednesdays at OLPH.
The same place I started.
Where he started. So
Yeah.
he's right back, and he's returning that gift that was given to him. And we're not here to save people. We're just here to be the hands and feet of Jesus. And if somebody comes to us and they have a need and they're willing to, walk, we want to walk alongside of them during, and through their journey that they're on. So I knew that there was something in Devin that he was tired of what he had been experiencing on the street, and he wanted help. And so your financial gifts, what you give monthly to Revive and Restore, that Restore partner, these are the people that helps, people like Devin, that we were able to help him financially to secure his deposit in the place where he is now living, to help him to get just all of the documents and all of the fees and things that he needed at the DMV when you got your car. And
stuff I wouldn't have been able to do.
Yes.
And in the spot I was in, being that I just started work, and keep in mind I'm working, and when I first started working, I'm still at a shelter, and every day commuting on 2 buses to work. But Lori's seen that, and she's like, we're not just getting you into a job, we're going to get you on your feet and going. And that's what she did, and now I feel like I'm able to somewhat help and give back because of what they did for me.
we don't want to just help and then, we're gone. Like Devin is a part of our family.
I see Lori all the time. I see Lori several times a week.
Yes, and
it's my favorite part.
And he's family.
Yes.
But Devin's family, and we consider him our friend, and it's someone that we know that as Devin continues on his journey, he's going to continue to help others just like him. And who better to know that than Devin, because he was on the street, so he understands the people that we're out there helping each day. If you want to be a part of something that our ministry, Revive and Restore, is doing right here in Tampa, then follow us on all of our social media platforms, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Become partners with us, whether it is volunteer at our monthly events, and also you can go to reviveandrestore.net, and we have an events calendar. On that calendar tells you everywhere that Revive and Restore is going to be at any given day of this month. So follow us, subscribe to our channel so we can continue to help all the Devins right here in Tampa Bay.
And there's a lot of Devins out there.
Yes, and you can see Devin's story. He was plugging along just like you and I, had a job, had a place to live, just plugging along in life. And then one by one, the domino effect of things that happened, that put Devin back into that dark place and in a place that he was, just surviving. And now by your generous gifts and your donations, it's helping us to get out on the streets and continue to listen and see and hear everything that the individuals like Devin are going through, so we can use our resources, collaborate with all of our partners right here in Tampa Bay to help individuals like Devin. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.